This program proudly brought to you by the Also Foundation, developing the lesbian and gay community for over 15 years.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's episode of Queer Zone. We're coming to you from Melbourne's very picturesque Fitzroy Gardens, and for those that are more familiar with its nocturnal activity, this is what it looks like during the day. You may not believe this, folks, but the Fitzroy Gardens evolved from what was actually the city tip way back in the early 1800s. It's most famous for Cook's Cottage, which was originally the home of the father of Captain Cook and was moved brick by brick to be rebuilt right here. A short walk away is the gorgeous little Tudor village, and what else but the Fairies Tree, which just quietly, I reckon, is a giant phallic tribute to the poofs who were transported here long ago. I'm standing in front of the marvellous conservatory, which is located right in the middle of the garden. At the moment there's a fabulous cyclamen display, so if you're horticulturally challenged like myself, stick around and we'll go take a look at what it's all about. Cyclamen is a popular bulb variety for when you want a bit of colour in the cold winter months. The caretaker here tells me they're very hardy and bloom indoor or out, which is great if you're a plant killer like me. They lay dormant for most of the year and blossom typically in late autumn and early spring. There are a lot of parallels one can draw between cyclamen and our very own community, for they come in many vibrant colours, can be ruffled or plain, and can even be bearded. In tonight's show, we'll be bringing you a fabulous selection of how-to tips and some informative reviews from a queer perspective, including pet care tips from our resident veterinarian Dr. Gabrielle Carter, another internet tip for all you cyberdykes and poofs. John Richards will be checking out the queer music scene in and around Melbourne. We'll be catching up with everyone's favourite platinum blonde dyke Madeline Swain with a very special guest, and much, much more. So set the video for the Monday night movie and stay here with us instead for another hour of gay television viewing here on Queer Zone.
Yes, oh look, you know what I mean? Oh, darling, if there's a drag queen in the street, love, hit the record button. I think I caught a chill, darling. It was sunny before, yeah, but now there's a bit of bleakness happening. Anyway, won't dampen our spirits, I can say that.
No, I bet you never thought you'd get picked up by a cycle slut. I only do it on a bike. What's your name? Jason. You're not in the closet, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Honey, after this goes out, you're not. It's Joy Melbourne. And Joy Melbourne here at Commercial Road. God, you must feel like monkeys in the wind. You can't talk to us. How can we talk to you? Sign language.
This is where it all comes through. This is the panel.
Yes.
So the music from the stage is here. CD1, cart, microphone.
Now look, you've got a little bowl of sweets there. Now this is, you'll find this in every radio studio, because why? It keeps us high.
Reception we've had since we've been here has just been phenomenal, actually.
Yeah.
It's certainly been a good PR exercise for us.
You're a local.
I'm a local.
And what do you think of this this festival?
Fantastic. Real nice and normal and no arguments. Everybody enjoy themselves. That's good.
Now, are you having a good day?
Oh, yes, lovely.
Oh, that's
You
good.
look very nice.
Oh, thank
I'll
you.
let you.
Okay,
I'll let you
my
hide.
legs, you see.
You've got
here.
better legs than me, love.
Oh, I don't know. Thank you, bye-bye. Hello, here's the proprietor over here. Hello. What's your name? Is business any... Oh, I might have got the wrong person. Oh, hello. I'm so sorry. Oh, how's business today?
It's been pretty amazing.
A lot of sales.
Bonds of beauty, mate.
So, thumbs up for diversity?
And what a great success this is about people coming out and enjoying themselves. But a great thing about our community.
There's a lot of togetherness here.
Every year, the Victorian AIDS Council joins forces with Melbourne's fashion and catering industries to host Style Aid, a fundraising night for AIDS care. Our very own style guru John Barrie was on the scene.
Style guru?
This is
is the event where the social elite of Melbourne get together to feel good about themselves, wearing heaps of clothes, but at the same time raising mountains of money. Fashion royalty here today at Style Aid 1996. Jenny Bannister, welcome to Queer Zone. Tell me, why are you involved with Style Aid 1996?
Barrie Kosky invited me to participate this year. He chose my urban baroque collection, I suppose because it looks a little theatrical, with corsets, long skirts, big trains, etc. And we're actually dressing 5 boys in drag for it, which I think is very appropriate for tonight, and they look absolutely gorgeous. I hope you'll see them later. And Kevin Murphy from Cusco Murphy is doing the wigs on them, and they're very theatrical too, modern theatrics.
So what inspired you for this collection?
I'm an evening wear designer, and I've been doing corsets now for quite some time, and I like the girls to look very sort of as though they've jumped out of Louis XIV's bed, you know, that sort of look.
So slightly tousled as well?
Yeah, very, very, yeah. And, you know, over the top, out there, upbeat.
Well, it's a lot easier this time for me because I'm not as involved as I probably was the second year. Each year it's grown bigger and bigger and bigger, and therefore easier to do because everyone knows about it, everyone gets excited about it. Everyone who we've asked to be in it has said yes and participated. The models are all doing it for free, and each year it seems to get easier to talk people into doing it because it's a charity event. Everyone does have to do it for free. So when you're starting off, because no one knows about you, it's hard, but now it seems to be going a lot easier. Like Grand Hyatt have donated their ballroom, and you know, all the designers are giving their time and models and everything. So it's running a bit more smoothly, I believe.
So there's enormous community support for this event now.
Yeah, the support's been fantastic. There's not one person who we haven't asked for, like, you know, goods, food, like all the restaurants give everything for free. Everyone's just been so amazingly generous. I think it's a cause that, although you know, it was big news 10 years ago, it's still starting to affect people personally now, and I think everyone knows somebody who's either been sick from HIV/AIDS or died, and so they want to do their bit to help out, and that's what the night is about. It tends to get forgotten because we have such a big party and there's so much fashion and food, but we're actually here to raise money, and what makes it a good night at the end of the night is how much money we've raised. And the last few years we've raised over 60,000, and tonight we've sold out tickets, so hopefully we'll be way over that.
So how many tickets were there to be sold?
I believe there were over 1,000, just over 1,000 I believe. I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure just about 1,100.
And because Style Aid is happening now, how do you think that's increased public awareness of AIDS and AIDS education?
Well, I think everyone's aware of AIDS and HIV. It's just a matter of making sure that it doesn't get a reputation of a disease that one doesn't talk about. And if people from the fashion industry and celebrities are saying we're prepared to support it, it gives it that image of what's an up-class image, because AIDS hasn't got an up-class image, but it gives it an image that people, yes, it's a disease, let's talk about it, let's see what the problems are and how we can help. And if we don't do that, the mass public won't do it either. So if we're out there saying we're going to do something about it, we're going to talk about it, then hopefully they'll discuss it in their living rooms or around the kitchen table, whatever. Because that's what the aim of it is, to make it a disease that isn't a terrible, you know, oh my God, it's just like any other disease.
Now tell me, we want some gossip. Any prima donna turns at Style Aid 96?
Are you talking celebrities or models?
Oh, we're talking anything.
Oh, there's always a few models who won't wear this, but I mean they're far and few between. I actually haven't heard. There was a couple last year, but not many this year. The designers have been good. Of course, I've been on perfect behaviour myself. There hasn't been many backstage dramas, but if you ask me at about 7 o'clock tonight, I'll probably have a different answer.
And so what do you do to those recalcitrant models? Is it a good slap, or what do you do?
Oh, they normally, look, you know, we just pull them aside quietly and remind them what the night's all about, and they're normally fine.
And so all the designers have behaved themselves as well?
Yeah, the designers have been great this year. Last year, because there were more designers, of course, there were a couple that were a little bit
difficult and have to realise the night isn't about them, it's about the whole, thing. So this year, because there's only a few designers and they've been fantastic. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Thank you for being part of Queer Zone.
Oh, pleasure.
So Pam, ma'am, you must be the woman with the highest hair here tonight. Tell me, what is your component here with Style Aid 1996?
Well, Pam Ann is making an appearance and opening up the Calibre. She'll be introducing the show as an in-flight, welcoming everyone on board the aircraft, making sure everyone's taken care of and happy, and then introducing the models to come on, and then it's like showtime, they all come on, and then later on I also do a small boarding, all the models board on Pam Ann's flight. Yeah.
So you're the hostess with the mostess.
Coffee or tea?
Don't change that, Chanel. There'll be more Style Aid after the break.
Don't you mean channel?
Idiot.
And Michael over here, the one with the very little hair, is making a small version of, well, a modern version of a Vitello Tornado, which is a veal with tuna sauce, basically. And he's putting some stewed capsicums and some fried capers and some chives over some garlic croutons. And there are two cold dishes, and we've got some hot things, which will come along later, steamed duck buns and some wontons with, there we go.
Oh, wonton.
Duck bun. There we go, and we can have a look inside. And take one of these lovely little. It has a sauce with it, and it's a very fantastic little dish.
Well, you've just been working your butts off here, haven't you?
Oh, and loving it.
Lily and Frank, it wouldn't be a social event in Melbourne without you here, and here you are. What are you wearing?
What am I wearing? Collared skirt and a yarrow top and a fox on me, a fox.
So you're not an anti-fur woman?
No, I never was. Come on, they're all dead when we get them.
Now this is in-your-face makeup. Tell me the lip liner, how important?
Very important. It can make big lips bigger, smaller, and small lips bigger, and do all sorts of deceitful things and keep the lipstick in place. And
now I noticed a bit of face slapping before. Was it a bit of an aggression therapy?
Oh yes, I have to keep these models in line. They're just out of control tonight.
Bernard Gardner, General Manager of the Victorian AIDS Council, welcome to Queer Zone. Let's start on a high note to give a bit of a Price is Right feel. Can you give me the total amount that was raised for Style Aid 1996?
We were hoping to raise $50,000 and it seems to be closer to $90,000 at this stage.
Well, God, you can buy a bit of Prada hand luggage with that, Bernard. You must be very happy.
We're over the moon about it, actually.
Now, that money raised by Style Aid, what programs will it maintain for the Victorian AIDS Council and what does it actually go towards?
Well, we have a whole lot of programs that are funded out of the money we raise. In support, we need about $80,000 a year to train and reimburse the expenses that the volunteers incur in the process of caring for people at home who are ill. In health and education, we need about $25,000 a year just for the print campaigns that people see out and about. That they're not funded by government. We have to get the money from somewhere to do that. It takes about $200,000 a year in subsidies towards keeping the Positive Living Centre open. We get some government funding towards that, but we have to raise at least $50,000 a year to keep that centre operating. So it's those kinds of things that the money goes towards.
Now, given that there may be a change in emphasis with the government, do you see Style Aid taking a more politicised role in educating the people that go there about the government policies?
I think the fact that people go, they make the commitment to be there and they're seen to be there, those things all serve a great purpose in long-term action, in the sense that people have made their stand, and it increases awareness just by the mingling that goes on and the discussion that goes on around the event. I think the event is about style and fashion. The actual night is a damn good time, but that creates an enormous amount of commitment, goodwill and energy, and I think that those other factors that you're mentioning just spin off from that.
So is Style Aid seen as an avenue to actually educate and maybe inform the general public and not merely as a fundraiser?
I think it does inform the general public because it's a very diverse group of people that are attracted to Style Aid. It's not targeted primarily at the gay and lesbian community, although a lot of gay and lesbian people get pretty excited about the event. But there are a lot of people who aren't part of the gay and lesbian community who actually go to Style Aid and love going to Style Aid. It's a diverse group, it's a very energetic and creative group of people, and I think it's wonderful to have those people involved.
So let's finish on an up note after all that very, very serious conversation. Bernard Gardner, can you tell me your favourite piece of clothing?
Oh, it was my, what I wore to Style Aid, my pervert top, yeah.
So you love those labels?
Yeah, black, basic black with the right label, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kosky, the Adelaide Festival, Nabucco, now Style Aid. Tell me, how are you feeling?
Pretty exhausted after this one. We sort of put it together for 3 hours in the afternoon, so it got there, but it's probably just as difficult as putting on a big opera.
But you had the name Velvet Burlesque, so you obviously had the vision already, so you just had to put it into practice today. Is that all? Is that what you're saying?
It's more complicated than that, but you know, burlesque is a bit of an obsession, so we wanted a sort of rag-bag selection of fashion, sort of opera singing, tap dance and bagpipes, so you know, it was a blend of these different elements.
So you're saying, Barrie Kosky, your life is burlesque?
Absolutely. Barrie Burlesque, they call me.
Oh, we love that for a moniker. Tell me, what with the opera singing, did you think that really worked tonight?
I was surprised. I thought people would like listen a bit more, but I suppose if people are coked off their head and drinking, that they probably don't want to listen to opera singing at 11 o'clock at night. So I would have thought there would have been a bit more silence. But I think at the end there when she was their bride, but you can never account for audiences' behaviour.
So what have you learned from Style Aid 1996?
I think that will be my first and last Style Aid. I've had a fantastic time. But I hope that that I can do sort of other sort of large-scale events in the coming years, which I'm planning to do.
And tell me, just to round off, because I know you're really exhausted, your fashion tip for winter 1996?
My fashion tip?
Tip.
I think it's the Warsaw 1944 look.
The Warsaw 1994 look? Gee, I don't know that one. Tell me about it.
It's this. Flaps down.
Beautiful. Now remember, you saw that first on Queer Zone. Barrie Kosky's Warsaw look. That is big. Thank you, Barrie. You're beautiful.
Pleasure.
Hi, I'm Barbara Creed and you're now in the Queer Zone.
We all like to fantasise about our perfect match. Will they be the sporty type, or do you get off on a bulging muscular bodyline? Do you like the leather look? Do you like a cross-dresser? Do you prefer a short, sharp hairstyle? Tall? Short? Tattoos? Piercings? So many options. But when you're trying to find that long-term companion, when you're thinking about commitment of 10, 15 years, maybe more, then you also need to consider their domestic habits. Do you see yourselves sharing an outdoor life, or are you more inclined towards cosy evenings at home on the couch? Will they leave hairs in the bed? Will they snore, or worse still, dribble? Do you see yourself with a happy extrovert, or prefer a more solid, protective type? And how will you cope if they always have to have the last word? And finally, can you meet their needs and their appetites? When it comes to making this big decision, there's a great pet service that can really help you out.
Select a Pet started about 12 years ago with the aim of helping people choose the most appropriate breed of dog or cat instead of just reading through books and choosing by the pretty picture or without knowing any of the characteristics of the breeds. We've decided to use the television commercials to promote Select a Pet because television's a wonderful way to reach all age groups and give them messages of responsible ownership, and that begins with choosing the most appropriate breed of dog or cat for your lifestyle.
The Wonderful World of Dogs with Dr. Jonica Newby.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonica Newby. Today we'll be looking at a variety of dogs which make typical family pets.